Hello everyone, I'm Ruchi Rathod and I welcome once again all of you in my new video. Today I have taken a topic, human eye. This topic is very important for 10th CBSE board and even also for 10th state board. Okay, so let's get start with the topic. First of all, we'll discuss why human eye is important. What is the importance of human eye? The human eye is one of the most valuable and sensitive organs. It enables us to see the wonderful world and the colors around us. On closing the eyes, we can identify objects to some extent by their smell, taste, sound they make, or by touch. It is, however, impossible to identify colors while closing the eyes. Thus, of all the sense organs, the human eye is the most significant one as it enables us to see the beautiful, colorful world around us. So now let's start with the parts of human eye. Now we'll discuss each and every parts of the human eye. Okay, so let's get start with this. The first part that we are going to discuss is about the eyeball. Eyeball, it is spherical in shape. Its diameter is about 2.3 centimeter. Now next we'll talk about the cornea. Okay, what is the function of cornea? It is the transparent outermost layer of the human eye. Light enters the eye through this layer. Most of the refraction of light rays entering the eye occurs at the outer surface of the cornea. Okay. Now, next we'll talk about the eye, which is also known as the crystalline lens. Now, we know that eye lens basically acts as a convex lens. The lens present in human eye is convex lens, which is located behind the iris. Now, it provides adjustments of focal length required to focus objects at different distances. Now, next we'll talk about the iris. The function of iris, it is a dark muscular diaphragm between the cornea and the lens. It controls the size of the pupil. Now, it is the color of the iris that we call as the color of the eye. Correct? Sometimes blue, brown, black. It regulates and controls the amount of light entering the eye by adjusting the size of the pupil. This is a very important point. Students note, it regulates and controls the amount of light entering the eye by adjusting the size of the pupil. Now next we'll talk about what is pupil. What is the function of pupil? Okay. Now here the pupil which is located. Pupil, it is a small hole between the iris through which light enters the eye. In dim light, it opens up completely due to the expansion of eye muscles. But in bright light, it becomes very small due to contraction of eye muscles. The pupil appears black because no light is reflected by it. I hope pupil function is well understood. So now next we'll talk about the ciliary muscles. Now what ciliary muscles function? They hold the lens in position and help on modifying the curvature of the eyelid. This is the function of ciliary muscles, which hold the lens in the position and helps to modifying the curvature of the eyelids. Now, retina. Every image is formed on the retina in human eye. And if image is not formed on the retina, that comes to the defect of the eye, then person will suffer defects with eye, either myopia or hypermetropia or the presbyopia. Means either myopia or hypermetropia both. Correct? So the screen, retina, basically it is a screen on which the image is formed in the human eye. Now next we'll talk about the optics nerve. What this optic nerve do? It transmits visual information from the retina to the brain. It gives the sensation to the brain. Now this blind spot, it is the spot in the retina where the optic nerve connects. It is insensitive to light. Now next we'll talk about aqueous humor, then we'll talk about the vitreous humor. Now what is the function of aqueous humor? It is a transparent liquid filled in the space between cornea and eye lens, is known as the aqueous humor. Now vitreous humor, what is this? Vitreous humor, a liquid filled in space between the eye lens and retina. What is vitreous humor? It is a liquid filled in the space between the eye lens and the retina. And about aqueous humor, two more important things you should know, students, that is, it helps the refracted light to be focused on retina, and the second is it also maintains intraocular pressure. Okay? And vitreous humor, it provides nutrients to the eye and helps to keep in the spherical shape. So this is the function of aqueous and the vitreous humor. Now we'll see formation of image in human eye. How the image is formed. In the lens chapter, students, you have learned that how the image formed either through convex or concave lens. Correct? So now here we'll discuss formation of image in the human eye. So initially what happens? The light coming from an object enters the eye through the cornea and forms the image on the retina. In this image you can see how the image is formed. Correct? Now, as it contains convex lens, in human eye convex lens is present. So convex lens gives real and inverted image of an object. Correct? So nature of the image will be real, inverted, and the diminished. Small image will be appear. Now, the surface of the retina, this is very important. The surface of the retina consists of a large number of light sensitive cells, and these cells called the rods and cones. Now, rods generally responds to the sensitive of light, and cones generally responds to the illumination of colors. So when the light falls on these sensitive cells, they get activated and create electric signals that are sent to the brain by the optic nerve. So we see objects as they are. So the image created real and inverted, but by the optic nerve the signal is sent to the, or we can sensation is given to the brain, which appears a straight view of image. The way we are looking the objects. Okay, so this is how image is formed in the human eye. I hope you have understood. Now next and very important, we'll talk about power of accommodation. Power of accommodation. Now what is power of accommodation? The ability of the eye lens to focus both near and distant objects. And how it can be done? By adjusting the focal length of the lens. So the ability of eye lens to focus both near and distant object by adjusting its focal length is called accommodation. Power of accommodation. Now, if we change the center of curvature of the eye lens, what happens? Its focal length also changed. This is very important. So, there are two things which is very important. First, for near objects, when the person looking at objects closer to the eye, then ciliary muscles contract. And when ciliary muscles contract, this increases the curvature of the eye lens. And once the eye lens curvature increases, what happens? Eye lens becomes thicker and its focal length decreases. This enables us to see nearby objects clearly. Correct? Now next, for distant objects, what happened? When the person looking at distant object, then ciliary muscles relaxed. And because of this, the lens becomes thin and its focal length increases, and this enables us to see distant objects clearly. This too is very, very important, students. Now, what is the range of normal human eye? There is a far and nearer range, correct? So the focal length, students, it cannot be increased or decreased beyond a certain limit. Okay. So due to which a healthy person cannot view clearly if the object is too close, that is less than 25 centimeter, or too far from the eye, that we are considering as infinity. Correct? So the range of the normal human eye is 25 centimeter to infinity. So it is classified into two categories. The one is far point of the eye. It is the farthest point up to which the eye can see clearly, and the farthest point of the normal human eye is infinity. And next is near point of the eye. Correct? And the minimum distance at which an object can be seen most distinctly without any strain is called the least distance of distinct vision. So the least distance of distinct vision for a normal human eye is 25 centimeter. Okay, near to this, if person looks, the object image looks like a blurry image. Correct? So the farthest point is infinity and the nearer point is 25 centimeter. So in short, the range of the normal human eye is from 25 centimeter to infinity. Now next, student, persistence of vision. What is persistence of vision? Basically, it is a time for which impression or sensation of an object continues to remain in the eye. What is persistence? The sensation of an object or impression continues to remain in the eye is known as the persistence of vision. It is about 1/16th of a second, which means that the minimum time for which we should view an object so that its clear image is formed on the retina is 1/16th of a second. Now, very important topic we'll discuss, defects of vision and their correction. So students, the defects due to which a person cannot see the objects distinctly and comfortably are called defects of vision. What is defects of vision? The defects due to which a person cannot see the object distinctly and comfortably are called defects of vision. The main defects of vision are myopia. Myopia also known as the near or short sightedness. Next, second, hypermetropia, also known as the far or long sightedness. And the third type of defect known as the presbyopia. So these are the defects a person suffers. Myopia, hypermetropia and presbyopia. So let's start it with one by one. First, we'll discuss about the myopia. So if the person is suffering with myopia, exactly what happens over here? In this image, you can clearly see, students, this is how a normal human eye functions, correct? Now, what happens if the person is suffering with myopia? If the person is suffering with myopia, then will not form on the retina. It forms in front of the retina. Where image will form is formed in front of the retina. So basically, what are the causes of this? Why it is forming in front of the retina? The cause is, students, a person with this defect has a far point nearer than infinity. This defect arises due to the decrease in focal length of the lens because of excessive curvature of eye lens, or we can say elongation of the eyeball. So if the person is suffering with myopia, that means the eyeball size is elongated. This is the reason that the image is not forming at the retina, it is formed in front of the retina. Now, what are the things that we can do? What are the remedy that we can follow so that image form on the retina? Therefore, the person needs specs, and that specs should have the combination of concave lens. So, with the help of concave lens of suitable power, will bring back the image on the retina. Then this defect can be solved. Correct? So in the case of myopia, image is from in front of the retina, and to prevent this, to make the image on the retina, a combination of concave lens is required. Already convex is present. We need a concave lens to bring the image on the retina. Correct? Now, next we'll start with the hypermetropia. So mostly when we are talking about the myopia, generally myopia occurs in the young age people, correct? The person who can myopia, when we are saying students, in the myopia what happens, the person cannot see the distance object clearly, but they can see nearer object clearly. Okay, so if any person who cannot see farther object clearly, means they are suffering from myopia. But when we are talking about hypermetropia means the person who can see the far object clearly, but they are unable to see the near objects clearly. Correct? So in this case, what happens? This is how the normal human eye, the image should form the retina. But if the person is suffering from hypermetropia, means if they are unable to see the near objects clearly, means in that case eyeball size is means eyeball size is reduced, and the image is formed beyond the retina. You can see in this image. So to correct that, a convex lens is required to bring the image on the retina. Correct? So this defect arises by the reason focal length of the eye lens becomes large, eyeball becomes too short, so that the image is formed behind the retina. I hope myopia and hypermetropia is well understood by everyone. Myopia, the person who cannot see far objects clearly, and in hypermetropia, the person cannot see near an object clearly. Now we'll discuss about the next defects, that is presbyopia. In this type of defect, a person suffers from both myopia as well as hypermetropia due to less power of accommodation of the eye. Generally, it happens in old age people, students. The causes of this is weakness of ciliary muscles, hardening or loss of elasticity of eyelids. Now, what are the remedy are there for this? This defect can be corrected by using bifocal or varifocal lenses. So basically, it consists both convex and concave lens. Now, how these lenses are kept, or this combination made? The upper portion consists of a concave lens for myopia, and lower portion consists of convex lens for hypermetropia. This is how the remedy can be done for presbyopia person. Right? So I hope you all have understood about the parts and function and how the human eye, or we can say how the image is formed in the human eye, and the defects of eyes and the remedies, causes of human defects of human eye. Okay. So now students, let's start with quick question and answer. If you have understood well all these things, not a long session will continue, just a few questions. First, what is mean by power of accommodation of the eye? What is it mean by power of accommodation of the eye? If you remember. So it is use of this. So children, power of accommodation is the ability of the eye lens to focus near and far objects clearly on the retina by adjusting its focal length. Next question. A person with a myopic eye cannot see objects beyond 1.2 meter distinctly. What should be the type of the corrective lens used to restore proper vision? So the answer is the person should use a concave lens of focal length 1.2 meter. So which lens? Concave lens of focal length 1.2 meter to restore proper vision. So what it will do? The concave lens will bring the image back to the retina. Now next question, try students. What is the far point and near point of the human eye with normal vision? What is the far and near point? Yes. For a young adult with a normal vision, the near point is about 25 centimeter and the far point of the eye is at infinity. So the range is between 25 centimeter to infinity. Next, a student has difficulty reading the blackboard while sitting in the last row. What could be the defect the child is suffering from? How can it be corrected? This is generally the young age students suffering, young age people suffering. How it can be corrected? So, my dear children, since the child cannot see the distance object like blackboard writing clearly, so he is suffering from which defect? Defect of vision called myopia or short sightedness. Myopia can be corrected by using spectacles containing concave lenses of suitable power. Okay, so I hope my dear students, you all have understood the human eye chapter very carefully. So if you have any doubt, please put a message in comment box. Definitely I will solve. So if you have understood, please share my videos, like, do comment and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.